Hello guys, today we are going to study about fluorescence microscope. Here we will study about what is fluorescence microscope, what kind of dyes are used in fluorescence microscope and how does it work, and what is the principle of fluorescence microscope and its applications, where it is used, its advantage and disadvantage. First of all, we will study what is fluorescence microscope. Fluorescence microscope refers to any microscope that uses fluorescence property to generate an image, and it is also defined as one of the microscopic techniques that uses chemical substance in the form of fluorescent dye, which we will stain, which is used for staining the specimen, and which stain the specimen and absorb white light of specific wavelength and then emit the wavelength and then emit the and then produce image with longer wavelength. हैन, अब यसमा चाहिँ फ्लोरेसेन्ट डाई युज हुन्छ. देन नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज हाउ डज इट वर्क. A fluorescence microscope operate by utilizing fluorescent properties, we know that, and it starts with the highest intensity light such as mercury or xenon arc lamp, which produce light that is directed through an excitation filter, and the filter only permit the light of specific wavelength. The filter only permit the light of specific wavelength. It does not permit the light of longer wavelength or shorter wavelength. It only permits the light of specific wavelength, and then the filter light is then reflected by a dichroic mirror. Then it is reflected by a dichroic mirror, which is an 45-degree angle from light source and the sample, which is 45-degree, and then it focuses it onto the specimen, the light rays that come from the light source, and it only allows the passes of only specific wavelength, and in the dichroic mirror it is reflected, and it went to the specimen, and a specimen is already stained with fluorescence dye, so it absorbs light. So fluorescence molecule absorb light and emit light of a longer wavelength. This emitted light is collected by objective lens. This emitted light is collected by what? Objective lens, and passes back through dichroic mirror. It then encounters an emission filters that blocks any residual excitation light and allow only emitted fluorescence to reach the detector. What does it mean? It means that in emission filter it blocks any residual excitation, that excitation which is not reflected, which does not produce image. It blocks all of that image, and only emitted light are passed back to the detector. The detector, which can be eyepiece or camera, captures the fluorescence forming a detailed image based on the emitted light from the specimen. Uh, Now we are going to study about what is the principle of fluorescence microscope. What is its principle? In fluorescence, as we have already studied, how does it work? यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि लाइट सोर्समा लाइट सोर्सबाट लाइट आउँछ, एक्साइटेसन फिल्टरमा के हुन्छ, एक्साइट हुन्छ. एक्साइटेसन फिल्टरले के गर्छ, स्पेसिफिक वेभलेन्थ भएको के अरे लाइटहरूलाई मात्र एब्जर्भ गर्छ, अनि त्यसपछि के डाइक्रोइक मिररबाट रिफ्लेक्ट भएर कता जान्छ, स्पेसिमेनमा जान्छ. स्पेसिमेनबाट चाहिँ ब्याक भएर यो अब्जेक्टिभ लेन्समा जान्छ, अब्जेक्टिभ लेन्सबाट डाइक्रोइक मिररमा जान्छ, डाइक्रोइक मिररबाट चाहिँ इमिसन फिल्टरमा जान्छ, इमिसन फिल्टरमा गएपछि के